Hey, what's up, guys? So we are back for Scream Season 2, Episode 9, entitled The Orphanage. Right off the bat in this episode, we see that Emma's PTSD and her traumatic state is definitely picking up its pace. We see that she is kind of having these violent overtones that keep kind of coming through. I think they're definitely going to play this up. Whether she's the killer or not, I don't know. Also in this episode, we learn what happened to Gustavo in Phoenix. We learned that him and his friend were playing with a gun and it accidentally went off, and that it was ruled an accidental death. But the weird part was that Gustavo wasn't traumatized by it. He was as cool as a cucumber, as the sheriff says. And also that he was just kind of just there drawing his friend dying, basically. Especially in this episode, they kind of push around the idea that Gustavo is just, he's creepy, he's weird, and he keeps showing up, random places in the background and right after someone's death or right after killer leaves. And we also come down to the truth of learning that Zoe, in fact, did send herself basically the email. Her reasoning was like, oh, she's such a fan of the podcast and she wanted to finish it. And really, I think that was kind of bad writing as far as, the writers of this episode, because that reasoning was just too easily thrown out there. It was just, there was no thought in it. Oh, she's a fan of the podcast. It's like, I thought it was going to be handled a little bit better, but I mean, the only good parts were that you can see the tension between Audrey and Zoe. That was handled pretty well, but other than that, the scene was kind of just rambling and muddled mess. And the camera that Noah had from the shed was bugged. Kind of stupid as well. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and this whole time I never knew he even had the camera. Did you guys know that? Because if they showed it earlier in the season, I completely forgot that. And I don't know why he just kind of discovered that. But yeah, there was a lot of parts in this episode overall were just kind of hit and miss. I have to say, this is the first episode that out of all of them so far, out of the 9 episodes, this is the only one that's been kind of, the Brooke storyline of her and Jake and the father and the creepy Gustavo. And really, I don't care too much about Brooke. I mean, they kind of took Brooke and I thought they were going to make her a stronger character because the Jake situation, but they kind of just, I don't know, they just kind of made her a weak character. I don't get it. She has her moments where she's up and you're rooting and going, Brooke's going to, kick ass this episode. And then there's episodes where she's just kind of just in the background or just, playing the sad, sappy girl, and that's not kind of what I expected. I mean, really, the only strong characters we're getting this season is Audrey and Noah. And the rest of the characters are just kind of in the background, or they're just pawns to be moved in certain spots for certain setups. So that's kind of what I've noticed after 9 episodes. It was handled a lot better in the other episodes, but in this one, it just seemed like a mess to me. Let's have a moment of silence for Haley. Wow. Yeah, so Haley Myers is the one to bite the dust in this episode. Interesting enough that on a lot of the message boards, a lot of people were split down the middle on Haley. A lot of people, liked her for obvious reasons. She's a very attractive young lady. But a lot of people also hated her for whatever reason. If you hate her, that's what the character is supposed to be. You're not supposed to like her. That's the idea of her character. So at the party, we see that Haley is talking to Emma, and we discover the fact that Haley has been dating someone, and we long discover that she has been dating the killer, or one of the killers, which is kind of strange because if she's been dating this killer, it's been kind of in secrecy. We've never really seen him. We've never noticed anything about her in any kind of relationships, even though she's kind of been in the background of most of these episodes. So they show a scene that she's walking into this kind of creepy room, and we can obviously tell something's going to happen. She is talking to the person, and conveniently enough, he or she is standing in front of her without the mask, and then suddenly when the camera changes to show this person, oh, they put on the mask. I don't know. I don't know why would they do that at that precise moment, just for us not to find out. But then we see Haley kind of drops to her knees and something's supposed to happen. I'm guessing that the killer is a guy, or at least one of them is. I don't know if that particular killer was a guy, or maybe they switched. I don't know. Like I said, this whole episode was just kind of confusing for me. Not confusing like I didn't understand it, but it was confusing just like the way it was handled and written. It just felt rushed. It felt like a mess. It felt like they had to cover a lot of tracks. But yeah, she gets killed in a rather brutal way. I think more so than what we've seen other people. Usually they get stabbed. For some reason they show that this killer was brutally, like really into it almost. And I'm not sure if that was because there was some anger going on with the killer, or maybe they're just showing that he was angry at Haley for talking to Emma. I don't know what the reason could be, but yeah, we have that. So Haley is no longer on the show. And so I think it's time to get to predictions for next week. So my predictions for next week is obviously Audrey and Emma are going to go further and further and further apart. And I think what's going to happen is by the end of the season, Audrey's going to kind of come back to rescue Emma in a situation, thus kind of regrouping their friendship. I think that's what's going to happen in the long run. We also learned that Noah kind of goes, maybe he goes, maybe not, but I don't think Noah's going to die that quickly. I do think they do show a scene where he gets stabbed, and we know that the killer or someone lures him to that spot of the beach where him and Zoe kind of had their kiss. It could be the killer, it could be Zoe using him. I'm not too particularly sure about that. What do you guys think? Leave it down in the comment section on your thoughts for this overall episode of episode 9, The Orphanage. Yeah, so leave your comments down in the comment section about this episode and about what your predictions are for the next episode. Also weird that we haven't seen some characters in this episode. It's a small town, so it's kind of weird when we don't see like Creepy Eli. This whole episode we didn't see him. We also don't see Creepy Eli's mother, I forgot her name, but the woman that was supposed to be working with Brooke's dad. We haven't seen her in quite some episodes. Kind of strange. We also see Gustavo is kind of creepily in the background. Maybe he's the killer, maybe he's not. We're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty of this season. We're, I think, like 3 episodes away from it ending. So pick your killers now and start watching them closely in these episodes that are coming up. Anyway, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you haven't already for more content on the way. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, peace.